Hey, so welcome to the DLJ experience. Today I want to talk about one of the most important idol events in regards to the very, very young history of Japanese girl groups performing in America. So back in 2014, there was a dedicated idol event strictly focused on Japanese idols. And that means no anime, no video games, or any other real references to Japanese pop culture. So I think the general consensus at the time, leading up to and during and even after the event, was that it was a humongous failure. Especially online, I saw a lot of people mocking the event, but I think there's a lot of ignorant people who don't realize how significant it was. So in my two previous videos, I've mentioned this concept of what I view an idol fan to be, being that they're fans of idols, the concept, and less of a particular group. So I'm proud to credit Idol Matsuri for helping me realize this concept. So how did that come about? So if you look at the non-American groups that attended, so I'm talking about Aether, Ryutist, Momoi Haruko, Becky Cruel, and Ali and Sally, of the 180 or 200 people that attended, maybe 5 or 6 people came to meet one of those guests specifically. So what does that tell me? It says that there are some people who are just interested in the genre itself. For people to travel to Silverdale, I think that's a pretty big commitment if you're not already invested in the groups attending. I mean, I see it all the time with J-Pop Summit and Anime Expo, where I'll ask my friends if they're attending, and the usual response is, meh, we'll see who gets announced. And that's the point I'm trying to make, that as American fans, we are very focused on getting what we want. We want our groups to come, with the members we approve. And we want them to perform the songs that we know and love. And we expect them to bring cheap, affordable merchandise that also looks cool. But I think that's completely missing the concept of supporting idols. But let's table that discussion because that's not what this video is about. So if we look back at the guest list, that version of Aether has disbanded, although they have since reformed with new members. Ryutist is still doing their thing in Niigata, though they've switched out one member. But yep, that's the same Niigata where NGT48 is from. And then you have Momoi Haruko, who in the late 90s was doing live performances and singing on the streets of Harajuku and Akihabara. So she's basically the one who started it all and paved the way for pretty much every single indie idol that has come along since. And now she writes songs and co-produces the idol group Ophelia Saga. So yeah, so who the hell is Momoi Haruko, right? And then Becky Cruel, that's a whole nother thing in itself. I mean, the amount of ire and jealousy directed towards her. People criticizing her and her family every which way. But I had an amazing talk with her at Idol Matsuri. And there's so much that people are completely oblivious to. And even Ali and Sally, who to be honest, at the time I was a bit skeptical of, are now living in Japan as members of the idol group Seishun Gakuen. And who will be performing at Tokyo Idol Festival this summer. I mean, Idol Matsuri was just this amazing meeting of people who love idols and want to be in the industry. I mean, I don't want to go into the specifics of naming every single person I met there, but I mean, that's where I met DJ Amaya, who travels to Japan to perform, and who has produced music for idols to use on their CDs. And then there's Spunky Zach, who has to be one of the most integrated Western fans within the idol culture. If not the most, then at least top 3. And then a couple years later, I would meet Frenchie Melody in Japan, who is a big AKB fan and had been on TV shows. And then years later, I would discover that she was the one who designed the mascot for the Idol Matsuri handbook. And so there was this unbelievable connectivity where all these people with similar paths in life crossed by each other and eventually probably will cross by again. Idol Matsuri is also where I had my first interaction with real Japanese fans. And it's what laid the groundwork for me to learn etiquette and how to behave and how to put together conversations with idols. I think it's helped me immensely in my trips to Japan. And all of this I learned from going to this rinky-dink idol convention, which we can criticize all we want. And I'll be the first to say that yes, there were some problems there. But I hate the thought that there are people who criticize the event having not spent any money or time or commitment. And they just sit there in their ivory towers on the internet looking down and judging other people. I know the event was a long time ago, but this has always been something I've wanted to say publicly. And on the record, Idol Matsuri 2014 was a pretty amazing event. We as Americans were afforded an opportunity to be right up there and close with idols. And for the fans to have a meeting spot to socialize and share ideas. It's a shame that there hasn't been something like that since then for others to enjoy and be part of. Hopefully somebody will figure out how to make it happen. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.